The guest purchased a TWA Constellation for her husband, who is a big fan of anything that has wheels and wings. She got it from a local barber who was liquidating what he had for decor in the shop. This piece was originally owned by a pilot. It is a sleek, beautiful aeroplane model. It has a kind of dolphin tail with 3 fins.
I believe that there were over 800 of the actual airplanes produced.
This was a promotional display model. It was a production contract from shops at Lockheed, a leading aerospace and defense company. This model was made of burnished aluminum, which can be a factor in its estimated value at...
Auction value on this airplane is $5,000 to $6,000.
Oh, no. Really?
This gun belonged to the guest grandparents, who were missionaries in Korea from 1890 to 1908. Purchased by the guest grandfather from a Korean tiger hunter, it dates back to a sensitive time in Korean history, just before the Japanese occupation in 1911.
We're looking for any kind of foreign help to help them out of the situation they were involved in.
The gun is an exceptional rarity, being a matchlock. It's a very early form of gun with a cord soaked in salt pepper used to ignite it. It features a hardwood stock, a handmade barrel, and is a model that the Koreans kept because of its effectiveness. The gun is likely from the 19th or even the 18th century, and at auction it could fetch an estimate of $3,000 to $5,000, with a retail value potentially reaching $10,000 to $15,000 due to its rarity and historical significance.
Well, thank you. I've wondered for years what kind of gun it was and when it might have been made.
The painting was showcased by the guest, who speculated her father might have bought it. The beautiful piece depicted a snow scene in a French village from the early 20th century. The painting possessed an Impressionist style of art, which had started in 1870. The appraiser highlighted the conspicuous brushstrokes, which made the painting look lively and animated. The signature on the bottom depicted it was made by Gustave Loiseau, a second-rate Impressionist influenced by Monet and Pissarro. Despite not reaching the same level as the top Impressionist,
this artist is clearly aware he's in thrall of it all, but he's not quite learnt to have the same vision and clarity as those artists.
Loiseau's work still carried value. The estimated value of the particular piece was...
It's still worth between about £10,000 and £15,000.
Oh, goodness.
The guest brought in a beautiful bracelet made from fragments of ancient Roman glass. The gold setting, though crafted in the late 18th century, held pieces of much older glass, some dating back to the 1st century AD. These fragments were remnants of bowls, jugs, and other vessels, unearthed from archaeological excavations. The process of polishing and reassembling these pieces revealed stunning colors and decorative techniques, some unknown for centuries. There are various glass-making techniques evident in the bracelet, including Millefiori canes and Latticino twist. These techniques were so intricate that they were rediscovered only in Victorian times. The bracelet itself was likely created during a period of renewed interest in the Roman world, possibly incorporating fragments from excavations like Pompeii. It's the unique combination of the historical significant Roman glass and the beautiful Georgian goldwork that makes this bracelet a valuable piece. Considering all these factors, the estimated bracelet's value is somewhere between
somewhere perhaps £6,000 to £10,000.
If you offered someone $1 million for a family heirloom and they rejected it, what does it mean?
It's worth $1 million and it wouldn't make a darn bit of difference to me.
It means they value that heirloom, and that's exactly the case of today's guest, who inherited this 1875 gold snake bracelet from his ancestors. At first sight, what you'd notice primarily is the shining gold magnificence. Although it's not clear who created this specifically, it is thought that the Englishmen were responsible. Another distinguishing feature of this bracelet is the snake-like head shape. The bracelet is also worked into a spiral shape. All these features work hand in hand to ensure it catches the eye of whoever spins on it. You can tell that it's worth a lot. Most likely, that's why it auctions at the price of
But how about $25,000 or $27,000 retail?
It's an honor to be on Antiques Roadshow, and it's wonderful, and I'm very, very pleased.
Let's now step into the captivating world of a remarkable button collection. Despite going through a fire and tornadoes, the buttons stayed safe. An expert examined the buttons, revealing their significance in political history. These are well-known buttons called flashers, produced by Veraview in White Plains, New York. Specifically, this one features Grover Cleveland. The buttons seem to have survived the fire and tornadoes without much harm. The collection serves as a comprehensive guide to the history of political buttons, starting from their earliest appearance in the McKinley campaign of the 1890s. Some buttons were made to look like old ones, but they weren't worth much. While recognizing the importance of the artifact, the appraiser proposes.
But some of these that you have through here, as I said, are in the hundreds. On the whole, you have about $2,000 to $3,000 worth of real political buttons here. Yeah, there's some very nice ones.
Wow.
The guest received this jewelry piece from their mother-in-law, but knew little about it as it was never worn and had never been appraised. The appraiser identified it as a whimsical piece by renowned Fifth Avenue jeweler Raymond Yard. Raymond Yard is considered one of the great Art Deco jewelers, using only the highest quality gemstones and the most exquisite platinum mountings. This piece most likely featured a significant sapphire. The box containing this piece bore Raymond Yard's stamp. The appraiser suggested getting a laboratory certificate to determine the county of origin of the sapphire, which would impact its value significantly. Depending on whether it's from Ceylon, Burma, or Kashmir, the piece could be valued differently.
If it's only a beautiful salon, the wholesale value, it could be worth $3,000 to $5,000.
Oh,
if it is a beautiful Burma, it could be worth $8,000 to $10,000. If it's a cashmere, it could be worth $15,000 to $20,000, depending where it's sold. Retail could be higher.
The guest expressed surprise and eagerness to obtain the certificate for further evaluation.
So, you know what we have to do? We have to get a certificate.
Dolls are not your ordinary toys. The guest presented a doll with a rich family history, tracing back to their great-grandmother's sister and passed down through generations. The doll, of German origin, was estimated by the appraiser to have been made around 1880. The doll claimed a fancy hairstyle, indicative of its rarity in the China doll category. Its pristine condition, devoid of any damage, chips, or cracks, added to its value. The authenticity was affirmed by the matching components, head, arms, and original clothing, all harmoniously intact. The doll displayed traditional characteristics common to its type. Particularly noteworthy was its intricate hairstyle, adorned with curls, twists, and a decorative band, showcasing the craftsmanship of its time. Its distinctive oversized arms and hands set it apart within its category, adding to its uniqueness and charm. The appraiser suggests
that on today's retail market, this doll would probably sell between $1,800 and $2,200.
Oh my gosh.
Let's uncover the tale of a mysterious porcelain box with an unexpected legacy. A guest brings forth a porcelain box with a rich family history, believing it to be a cherished heirloom passed down through generations. The appraiser closely looks at the beautiful painting on the box, showing fancy French people from long ago with shiny gold decorations added. Noting the craftsmanship and attention to detail, despite initial beliefs that it originated from the renowned Sèvres factory in France, closer inspection reveals it to be crafted by an unknown French manufacturer, albeit still of high quality. You'll find plenty of small ring boxes, bigger ones, and fancy jewelry containers, all stamped with those special Sèvres marks. Notably, the box bears a fake Sèvres mark, indicating its misattribution, but does not detract significantly from its value. As per the appraiser,
a retail price would probably fall somewhere between $8,000 and $12,000. It is the largest Sèvres-style box that we have ever seen.
Wow.
The guest brought in a collection of 153 tobacco cards discovered in a tin while renovating their house. which they bought for $16,000 in 1973. The previous owner, a baseball enthusiast who coached a youth league, had meticulously collected these cards. The cards are T206 tobacco cards issued by the American Tobacco Company between 1909 and 1911. These cards were inserted in cigarette and loose tobacco packages to promote the brand. Most probably due to being stashed away for decades, the cards are in exceptional condition. Among the finds are two variations of the highly sought-after Ty Cobb red portrait card, each valued at $5,000 to $7,000. Another valuable card was a Ty Cobb bat-on-shoulder variation from a different set, E95, estimated at $3,000 to $5,000. The collection also included a special gem, a Sherry McGee error card, where his name was misprinted. This card, due to its rarity, was estimated at a staggering $15,000 to $20,000. Considering the overall quality and rare finds, the estimated value for the entire collection is...
I would put a value on this at auction for the entire group of $45,000 to $65,000.
Very nice.
The guest inherited this jewel tankard from her mother, who was quite into collectibles and most likely purchased it from somewhere in the Washington area. It's very soft and has a couple of lines that have continued to be very interesting to collectors, and this is one of them called a cameo jewel. The jewel portion of it really comes from the faux jewels around the perimeter of the piece. They are ceramics that are hand-painted to look like jewels, and they encircle the base of the piece. One really interesting fact about the piece is that it's really rare. It was made by the Weller Company, which produced thousands of pieces, but this particular piece has never been seen before. There are grapes all over the front of this piece, and a vignette is carved into the back, which reflects and adds to the grape theme.
Between the jewels and the bottom are grapes and grape leaves as well, and vines.
For a piece this rare and unique, at auction, it's sure to fetch.
We think that a retail figure would be around $4,500.
Wow, really?
Now that's retail.
Guest brought in a silver pitcher handed down to her husband through his father's family.
It was a presentation piece to this James A. Moore. James A. Moore was my husband's great-great-great-grandfather.
This piece of silver has an embossed crest of the state of New York on the front. The intricate design and craft add a touch of elegance and beauty to home decor or any table setting. It has a personalized inscription, making it unique. The estimated value for this piece would be?
At auction, I think it would have an auction value of $4,000 to $6,000.
The guest brought a remarkable antique table dating back over 300 years. The table was crafted in the William and Mary style and originated from Massachusetts during the colonial period. William and Mary is a furniture design that was common from 1700 to 1725. Its maple wood construction suggested it was likely made in one of the provincial mercantile centers along the East Coast. Characteristic of the William and Mary period, the table featured intricate turnings, notably on its legs, made by skilled turners and joiners. The gate leg design allowed for folding, a clever and functional feature even by modern standards. Despite signs of wear, such as flattered sections from years of use, the table retained its authenticity, including an original drawer with vibrant coloration.
Say that if we saw this in a shop, it would probably be selling at around $10,000. Wow. Wow.
Ever found something at an antique show that's free? That feels priceless?
We're throwing away a lot of stuff, and this was one of the things that I thought was great and not to be thrown away, so I got this.
This 1993 Air Jordan sneaker display has been treasured by the guest, then his son, and now proudly embraced by his grandson. This piece is ideal for the boy, considering his family's basketball legacy.
She taught me how to dribble, shoot, and pass.
Dribble, shoot, and pass.
Michael Jordan, widely regarded as one of the greatest players, made a deal with Nike, instantly boosting the popularity of Air Jordan and expanding its market reach. It showcases motivational words associated with Jordan, such as skill, creativity, sport, grace, freedom, intense, power, and dedication. What do you think the worth of this free display is?
If I was going to put an auction estimate on this, I would put about $500 to $700 on it.
Behold, a mesmerizing painting capturing the fiery aftermath of the San Francisco earthquake with meticulous accuracy.
The fire after the San Francisco earthquake. We checked with a friend who's a sailor who said, the only person who's seen it of importance, who said that the running lights.
The guest found it in the attic of an old Victorian house in San Mateo. The fire following the 1906 quake caused significant damage. The iconic ferry building and its surroundings in the painting indicate that it was painted from Yerba Buena Island. It's signed A.V. Anderson from 1906, likely by Arvid Victor Anderson. He was a Swedish individual who arrived in San Francisco.
And these little spots are mold spots, so this could be cleaned up and it'll brighten up a bit.
By the way, the dog who did that lived.
Despite the damage, the painting holds significant historical value, making it a valuable piece.
In that range would probably be around $5,000 to $7,000 because it's that important an object.
Whoa.
This painting, created by Raymond Johnson, a renowned New Mexico artist, was passed down to the guest by his parents. It reminds the guest of places where he had worked as an archaeologist. This painting depicts Santa Fe, rendered in oil on canvas in 1922, signed Raymond Johnson on the back, entitled Santa Fe. Johnson received training in Chicago under Nordfeld and was heavily influenced by him. The painting might be one of his earliest pieces from Santa Fe, around 1922, where he later established the influential Transcendental Painters Group. Johnson's style evolved towards abstraction by 1924. His later works differ significantly from it. This painting resembles Cézanne's style. At auction, this masterpiece could easily command a staggering.
I think a painting like this at auction would bring $25,000 to $35,000 easily.
Mom and Dad, great taste. Thank you.
The guest received a collection of baseball schedules from 1898 as a gift from one of his dad's friends and coworkers. It's a complete set of 12 fixture schedules of the 1898 National League. What's interesting is none of these came from the same deck. Somebody had put the collection together to complete the set. It is quite rare and incredible to see a complete set like this, as it dates back to a very long time ago. At auction, it would sell for...
I would put this group at auction of a value of $2,500 to $3,000.
That's outstanding. I never expected that.
Guest bought the piece from an antique dealer friend for $100.
It's different from anything I collect. I thought I might enjoy having it.
And so what did you pay for it?
I paid $100 for it.
Okay. You know I have a reputation for doing reproductions on the show.
I do, yes.
And you are a college professor, so yes. I'm going to be very gentle.
The vessel is from northern Peru, dating back to AD 1000 to 1400. It was likely used in tombs as an accompaniment to the deceased. Even though it's old, the vessel still looks amazing, with a beauty that grabs everyone's attention. This mold-made pot boasts a charming face and a gracefully designed spout.
What makes this one exceptional? The mold is really, really lovely. The face is beautiful.
Noteworthy for its exceptional mold and strap handle, the pot also showcases a subtle yet elegant double figure design. Despite seeing many similar pieces, the appraiser finds this one exceptional. Hinted at its potential charm, suggesting its value could range.
I'm going to put a value of $800 to $1,200 at a good gallery. I think it really is well worth it, and I think it's a super object.
Well, this is very exciting. Thank you so much.
These letters are not just pieces of paper. They offer invaluable insights into personal connections and historical moments between Huggins and Fitz. The letters were cherished for their rarity and offered a unique insight extending beyond their roles in baseball. The baseball bought for auction had autographs of baseball legends, including signatures of Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, and Miller Huggins. The letters, cherished for their personal touch and rarity, showcase the unique relationship between Huggins and Fitz, offering insights into their connection beyond the realm of baseball. Huggins, a legendary manager known for his leadership of the New York Yankees during their golden era, was depicted in a more intimate light through the handwritten correspondence. The appraiser acknowledged the historical significance of both the baseball and the letters. The appraiser, while acknowledging the historical significance of both the baseball and the letters, said,
If I were going to put a value on the baseball, auction value, I would put on somewhere between $8,000 and $12,000. These letters, I'd put in about $6,000 to $8,000.
That's amazing.
This German stein, likely from the early 20th century, features a humorous take on Darwinian evolution. The stein depicts a monkey reading Darwin's book on top, and the phrase Ex Libris Darwin on the outside. The bottom showcases monkeys cavorting, adding to its playful design. This unique stein combines history and humor, making it a delightful piece for any collector. The appraised value of this German stein is estimated to be between $200 to $400. These titles, cherished heirlooms, have been in the Guest family for generations, originally belonging to their mother's mother. They were made by the San Jose Mission Workshops in San Antonio, headed by Ethel Harris.
Which was really a group of different workshops and potteries.
The tile style is distinctively Mexican, and they are attributed to Ethel Harris's main designer, Fernando Ramos. One of the titles depicts a scene with a lady at an oven, a rare find according to the appraiser. Despite their unmarked nature, these tiles are highly collectible, with a retail value of around.
These days, a retail value on each of them is probably in the $700 range. Whoa!
Guest brought children's books to the show.
Dealer Neil here.
This is a little book,
which had been obtained from an antique dealer. The appraiser inspected the items and found one little book by A.A. Milne titled When I Was Very Young, which was an autobiography by Milne. They also discussed a letter received by the guest wife from Christopher Robin Milne, the son of A.A. Milne.
and here's a letter to your wife, I guess, from Christopher Robin Milne. And Christopher Robin Milne was, like me, a bookseller. And your wife wrote to ask him about this book, and interestingly enough, he'd never heard of it.
Additionally, there was a complete set of Uncle Wiggily books dating back to around 1920. Despite their ages, the books were in pristine condition, with no signs of wear or writing, making them highly desirable for collectors. The value appraised for the items
is worth about $1,000. And this set, like this, could be worth $1,500 to $2,000.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
This log, believed to have been cut from a tree on the Gettysburg battlefield, was traded for a Zenith transoceanic radio in Carlsbad, New Mexico, around 1965. The log is riddled with shrapnel and musket ball fragments, indicating the intense combat the tree endured during the Civil War. The tree, a witness to history, was cut down between 1904 and 1907, but the scars of the battle remain visible, with the tree attempting to heal around the embedded projectiles. While it cannot be definitely proven that the log is from Gettysburg without physical markings,
not identified to.
I see. So even though we can't be sure it came from Gettysburg, we can be sure that it's around that time period.
Because of what shot into it.
Right. This is a piece of American history, despite its appearance as just an old hunk of wood. This item is valued between...
This piece of American history would retail today between $2,000 and $3,000.
Wow. Awesome.
This log serves as a poignant reminder of the horrors of war and the resilience of nature. A collection of portfolio books was brought by the guest, who acquired it 20 years ago for $5,000. The appraiser examined the collection, identifying it as a post-war portfolio book of art illustration published in 1950. The editor was a respected art historian in Paris named Robert Ray, who curated an incredible group of artists, including Picasso and Chagall. Ray produced a series of limited edition prints for this publication, accompanied by essays written by important writers. The appraiser highlighted the wood engravings enhanced with poke wire coloring.
Here, Chagall, to produce a series of limited edition prints for this publication, to have essays written by important writers.
Each plate was signed by the artist and Robert Ray himself, with notable contributions such as Matisse, Vlamnik, and Utrillo. The complete set was considered rare, as many editions were broken up over the years. Taking into account the exceptional condition, the worth was decided to be,
And they typically have an estimate of $20,000 to $30,000.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Guest brought this vintage Lionel train, a Christmas gift in 1957.
And you got it for Christmas?
Christmas in, I think it was 1957.
Remarkably preserved, the train had been kept in its original box since shortly after that Christmas, until rediscovered after the passing of the Guest parents. The Lionel train was not selling well in the mid-1950s, prompting the company to produce a train targeted at girls with pastel colors. Despite this effort, the train set did not gain much popularity, making surviving sets rare. The Guest presented all the original boxes and instruction sheets, enhancing the set's value. Standing out as a unique find, the appraiser estimated its value to be,
At auction, this set would probably sell for, depending on how well it could clean up, between $7,000 and $9,000.
Oh, wow.
The Guest seemed genuinely happy with the appraised value.
It's really great to see it with the original little girl owner.
It was me.
We unveil a captivating portrait, a meticulously crafted enamel artwork depicting Napoleon Bonaparte. It is such a captivating piece with its lifelike quality and captivating glint in Napoleon's eyes. The enamel artwork was based on a painting by Gerard, which was ironically owned by the Duke of Wellington, Napoleon's arch-nemesis. This detail added a layer of intrigue to the piece, hinting at a grudging respect the Duke might have held for his defeated adversary. The artistry behind the enamel work was also a point of focus. The laborious and delicate process employed by Henry Pierce Bone involved transferring the design onto copper, applying vitreous enamels, and firing the piece at precise temperatures. Any deviation from this meticulous process could result in disastrous cracks. The Guest fiancé, a self-proclaimed Napoleon admirer, had inherited this exquisite piece from his grandfather. Clearly impressed by the artistry, historical significance, and excellent condition of the piece, at auction, the estimated value is a
£10,000 to £15,000.
Seriously?
Oh, yes.
Wow.
The Guest presented a collection of deeply personal items, 2 photographs, a telegram, and a piece of shell. First photo depicted the Guest father, a crew member on the HMS Prince of Wales. Prince of Wales was a mighty British battleship, and it had a memorable encounter with the German behemoth, the Bismarck. The second photo, cradled by the Guest as a baby, stood in stark contrast. The telegram, a stark and unemotional document, shattered the fragile hope. It delivered the devastating news of the Guest father's presumed death when the Prince of Wales was sunk by the Japanese. The final item, a cold piece of shell, held immense emotional weight. It was a fragment of the Bismarck, the very ship responsible for the Prince of Wales' initial damage, recognized as more than just historical artifacts. The collection holds profound personal stories shared by countless families touched by the war's tragedies. Despite the collection's inherent value to a historical collector, its true worth resided in the memories it evoked.
I told you that I would think it would be about $500 to $600.
The Guest brought a banner showcasing one of the oldest subscription libraries in Britain. This painting is from the early 19th century.
The legend at the foot, Lead Hills, large motto, and leave the rest to heaven.
It shows a symbolic column with a dove crest on the top, and the foot features mining tools, a shovel and a bucket. The calligraphy on the banner depicts a boldly written, "Leave the rest to heaven," and Lead Hills. Silver and lead have been mined in Lead Hills for many centuries. Minerals such as lanarkite, leadolite, and caldonite were first found at Lead Hill, which is renowned amongst mineralists and geologists for its wide range of different minerals. This painting was painted to attract miners to study the subscription library.
I think it's a really wonderful piece, a very emotive piece. I think anyone who's interested in books, in reading, in literacy, to see something like this which somehow takes us back.
It shares a glimpse into the rich resources that could be acquired, and its current value at auction would be...
At auction, £6,000 to £8,000.
Well, my trustees were very interested to hear that.
This magnificent Satsuma ware moon flask, exquisite craftsmanship. Passed down through generations, this flask originated from the grandfather's house. The flask's impressive size and intricate gold decoration are characteristic of Satsuma ware.
And then the name of the artist or his studio, King Kozan, is the most famous artist who made this type of Satsuma ware.
The moon flask shape holds symbolic significance, with the moon being a prominent motif in Asian art. The flask's detailed decoration includes various flowers and birds, with one bird seemingly observing a small spider, showcasing the artist's attention to detail. An inscription on the base reveals the flask's origin and the name of the artist, Ori Seiju, under the great Chatsun Kyusu. Likely made for an international exhibition, the flask is one of a pair, making it even more exceptional and valuable. If this flask were to be sold today, its estimated value would be...
Now it would probably be £3,000 to £5,000. Oh my God.
This Rolex Submariner holds a special place in the owner's heart, inspired by his love for James Bond novels in his youth. Acquired 35 years ago from a jeweler friend, this Submariner has remained on his wrist ever since, a testament to its enduring appeal. What sets this Submariner apart is its rarity and unique features, earning it the nickname James Bond model. The watch bears a distinctive T mark, indicating its tritium dial.
We were asked by the British government to make a certain number of watches for the Royal Navy. Special watches for diving.
Other unique specifications include thicker lugs, specific numerals on the bezel, and larger sword-shaped hands for better visibility underwater. The watch also features the broad arrow mark on the back, indicating its military origin.
And they were specially made for the Special Boat Service. So,
it's unbelievable.
All of that makes it rather cool, doesn't it? Actually makes it a lot cooler than a James Bond watch, in my opinion.
Okay.
It's estimated to be one of only approximately 500 made. The Submariner's rarity significantly enhances the value, estimated between...
It's got to be worth between £30,000 and £40,000 at auction today. Yeah.
I can tell you what I paid for it.
Tell us what you paid for it.
£400. Unbelievable.
Congratulations.